everyone, I'm the Off-Brand Ginger, and welcome to Reddit Readings, and this episode, of course, is going to be about Am I the Asshole hosts. So we're going to go ahead and start off strong with Am I the Asshole for disowning my 15-year-old sister? Now, I'm not going to immediately pass judgment on this one. I want to read a little bit more into it because I'm sure there's going to be a good reason, I would hope. I mean, there better be if you're going to be disowning your 15-year-old sister. But anyways, am I the asshole for hating and disowning my sister? Basically, I'm the oldest of 6 siblings. I'm female 23 in the army stationed overseas. Since I've been overseas, my second oldest sister, 15-year-old female, has had significant behavioral issues, sneaking out to have intercourse, pulling knives out on my mother and my grandmother, running away and sneaking out. What episode does she die? She also has told my mother she wished that she would die. Oh my God, what the hell is happening? She's also purposely gotten CPS called to my mother so they would take away my baby sister, 7 years old. And she even bragged my mom couldn't discipline her because she could just call the police. She's been kicked out of school multiple times for fighting. Even after all of this, I try to give her the benefit of the doubt. Recently, she had a boyfriend that's 18 years old. She's 15 and the guy's 18, and he's coming to the house. My mother has called the police on him numerous times and he still shows up. My mother is a single mother who works the graveyard shift, and my sister takes advantage of that by sneaking him over. As of this morning, my mother called me saying our dog died of a heat stroke because my sister took the dog with her boyfriend on a walk for hours without any water. I'm devastated on how they could be so irresponsible. I sent her a long message saying how I'm done with her and for her not to refer to me as her sister anymore. And I feel like I am the oldest. I have to keep everything together for my mother. Am I the asshole for cutting her off? Absolutely not an asshole in any way, shape, or form. I would send her to military camp. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Either that or I'll do what is it called? Scared straight, beyond scared straight. I would send her onto something like that. Like, that is seriously horrible. If anything, I would have the mother do physical discipline herself, or I would do physical discipline myself, because I do not take that lightly, especially if she tries threatening my mother with a knife. If my sister was threatening my mother with a knife and if I was nearby, I would probably beat her to the ground. I am not gonna lie. Without hesitation, you threaten my goddamn mother with a knife, you are probably going to be needing that knife for defense. I won't stop. But anyways, there is an edit here, so let's go back to reading. We have tried to put her into therapy and she refuses. She's been in a mental hospital, but they said they cannot keep her for over 72 hours because she is a minor. How does that make any sense? She's a minor. She doesn't get the decision. You guys ultimately get that kind of decision. But anyways, that's a little unusual. Then again, I don't know anything about mental health hospitals or anything like that. I've never been to one. I really do not plan on going to one at all. I work through all of my own things through my own methods, which is going to the gym or riding a bike for 15 plus miles. Anyways, back to this. She did go to her stepmom's house, but she was sent back for behavioral issues as the stepmother did not want to deal with it. She's been diagnosed with depression, but does not take her medication. I've always tried to be there for her and have her communicate with me, even when she's made my deployment 10 times harder. I'm fed up and exhausted. She is very manipulative and will lie, and often feels no remorse for who her lies hurt. My grandmother is 75 years old and watches my siblings when my mother is gone, but is terrified of her because my 15-year-old sister pushed her when she had just gotten knee surgery. That is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And I don't give a shit about whether if she has depression or not, because seriously, depression doesn't entitle you to act like a complete jackass. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Your behavior, just because of your mental health, it doesn't justify it. it doesn't justify it. I think under certain categories or circumstances, I mean, I'm sure there's something that's a little bit deeper than, oh, she has depression. Maybe it's something to do with her mom's divorce. Maybe she's being abused at the other house. But either way, there is no real justification for that kind of behavior in any way, shape, or form, especially pulling knives on somebody who is there to support you and, you know, raise you. That is absolutely insanity to me. I would absolutely have sent her, honestly, out of the house. If that was my kid, I would personally just set her up for adoption, remove her. Sorry, I'm done with you. Gone forever. I'll abandon you. Not on me. Not on me. I won't deal with that. No. I'll send you to military camps. I'll send you to a boot camp. I don't give a shit. You're going to be sent on to Beyond Scared Straight. Pull a knife. I'm getting the police involved, and I'm going to have you arrested. As simple as that. You're going to juvie. But anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think of that, whether what you would exactly do in this kind of situation, or if you don't think she's an asshole. And honestly, I don't think the OP is an asshole in any way, shape, or form, but let me know your belief down below. Otherwise, next one, am I the asshole for asking for a proportional contribution in my relationship? Oh no, I don't like hearing that. Oh, I guess we're gonna find out. And this is a little bit of a longer one, but stay strapped in, guys. Yesterday, I, 31 female, had an argument with my boyfriend, 32 male. He recently got a job and is going to earn a considerably higher amount of money. I have an average Spanish salary, and with inflation and paying for my university studies, I feel like I'm drowning every month. I can barely even save anything, and any unexpected expenses means I have to dip into my savings. Currently, we don't pay rent because we live in my house, which belongs to my parents, and they let us live in it for free. We only pay 100 euros each in utilities, and on top of that, my parents are constantly doing renovations on the house for us, improvements, changing the window screens, putting parquet flooring, etc., all at my parents' expense. I mean, that's really cool of them. That's a pretty good thing that's there. I wish I could have something like that, but yeah, my family, we don't make enough money to do that. But anyways, we've been together for 4 years and have lived in that house for 1.5 years. He hasn't had to invest in this house because I furnished it before he arrived, either with furniture I already had. I lived in rentals for many years. This is the first time he's moved out of his mother's house, or by investing in new furniture. Up until now, our finances have been based on both of us paying the same amount to cover food, expenses, some necessary things for the house, and occasionally a night out, but not much more than that. Because food keeps getting more expensive and many months we end up having to contribute more, the rest of the expenses, movies, dinners out, buying appliances or furniture, are split 50-50. Okay. I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, I respect the financials aspect of the relationship, but let's see. In my case, this outlay amounts to 20% of my salary, which... Okay, I mean, 20% of your salary, that's really not that bad. 20% of my salary combined with my education expenses and other fixed costs doesn't allow me to save much or have much of a social life. Up until now, I hadn't said anything because even though he would earn about 300 pounds more than me, it didn't seem like a significant difference. But now he's starting to earn 1,000 pounds more than me. And what for me, 20% of my salary is like 10% of him. And that's not even counting bonuses he receives. To me, the situation has become unfair because while he can save a large amounts each month, especially because he doesn't pay rent since he lives in my house, starting on the 15th of each month, I have to give up all leisure activities in order to hold on to little savings I've managed to build up. And that means no dinners with friends, no going out for drinks, and definitely no buying clothes or any little indulgences. Oh, you know, I can definitely see the problem there. Yeah, I mean, rather than, I think, 50-50, it should kind of be a percentage base. I mean, 50-50 it should be more based off of income than that. So although, yeah, he's going to be carrying a little bit more of the expenses, then again, he is pretty much the primary earner of the household. So anyways, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Yesterday, I suggest we split expenses equitably, meaning we both contribute the same percentage of our salary, so the effort would be about the same for the both of us. His response was that he didn't agree because his salary is a result of his work and he's worked harder than me to get that job. He has a university degree just like me, it's just that my sector is currently paid worse than his. He says he'd rather keep it 50-50 and that every once in a while he would treat me to dinner or some little indulgence. Really? Really? That's what we're doing? I told him that doesn't make me feel comfortable because I feel like my leisure time depends on his goodwill and prior approval, making me feel poorer and more dependent on him. Let's keep reading because I do have my little shtick that I want to add to this because I'm really not liking the boyfriend right now. The situation escalated and now he's pretty upset with me and I feel like I'm begging for money when all I've asked for is that we both contribute the same percentage of our salary so the effort is shared. My family opened the doors of my house to him and gifted him a place to live, and because of that I consider that he does see it as a shared life project. Something we have in common. But when it comes to contributing the same percentage, that's where he doesn't see the shared project or the we are one. He sees individualism instead. What should I do? So we're gonna go to the edits before I start. Before we start talking about the points here. Thanks for your response. I'd like to clarify a few things. 50% of my expenses are student loans, and the rest of the expenses are related to things like going to work. It seems like a lot of people think I'm squandering money, but that's not the case at all. Whatever little I manage to save at the end of the month, it goes straight to my savings account. The only reason I'm able to study is precisely because I don't have to pay rent and I can afford university instead. That's the reason my parents let me live there for free. Yes, if it the other way around, I would pay more. There have been countless times I've offered to pay more. For instance, before he got his job, he was unemployed and I offered to cover his expenses, but he refused and paid for them out of his own savings because he said it was only a temporary situation. I'm not planning to charge him rent for living here for two reasons. First, this house isn't mine, so if he had to pay rent, it would be to my parents. I have no claim to that money. Second, if he paid rent and I didn't, the situation would be unfair for him, and what I'm looking for is equity. That being said, he's left the house and I don't know when he'll be back, but we'll talk about how to arrange expenses in a way that lets me breathe a little bit more and makes him feel comfortable. No, I don't want to take advantage of him, but we have a shared life project together and we want to have a child someday, and I don't think that's compatible with one of us not being able to make ends meet. Okay, so there is quite a bit to unpack in this. I'm definitely gonna have to say, definitely not the asshole to begin with. As a man, I believe that I should be paying more, period. I think I should be paying more for my partner. Especially in this regard, if I put myself into his shoes, the house is free. It's free housing being taken care of by essentially the girlfriend, It's not a big, heavy ask to pay a little extra to make sure that she feels comfortable. And it's not like you're giving her, it's not like he's giving her the money anyways, like directly. If he wants to pay for more things, cool. Actually follow through and pay for more things. Help her out. Whatever the bills are, and which I'm not exactly sure what the bills really necessarily look like, because again, not a whole lot of it is really explained, but to make things a little bit more equitable, yeah, I think in proportional, I think would be a little bit better of a way of saying it. Things should be a little bit more proportional than just, 50-50, because she can't afford the 50-50, then, well, I mean, She wants to, but she can't afford it. And that's the main thing there, is that she's struggling, barely keeping her head above water. Why wouldn't he offer to pay for more anyways? And by the way, you're, again, free housing. He might as well just pay up a extra amount. There's no way I could stay in a house that's being taken care of by my girlfriend's parents and not want to pay some form of rent to help out with any sort of renovations, or actually physically helping out on the renovations on the house, just so it's not entirely just being done by the parents. I don't know, that just doesn't sit well or right with me, that he's just so willingly doing this. You know what I mean? I don't know. I definitely say not the asshole, and to be honest, I don't know whether if I would want to be with somebody that is so unwilling to do that. If I were her anyways. Like, I don't know. If I had a girlfriend that was paying more, we had our own house or something like that, and we're doing 50-50, and I was barely keeping my head above water, and she's doing perfectly fine, able to spend money on all sorts of stuff, I would probably ask her to chip in a little extra too. It's just because it's a household thing. And of course, I will say they're not entitled to, but they're in a pretty committed relationship if they're talking about kids. And to be honest, I wouldn't consider kids with somebody that isn't willing to, pay a little bit extra. And especially in something like that, get married beforehand and then combine your savings. That's what I would do, if anything. Like that would make the most sense. I would combine savings, have your own little savings account separately to each other, and give yourself an allowance weekly. But like, otherwise, a decent portion of the money should be piled together with your partner, and then you guys, figure out expenses that way. That way it's all being taken care of. It kind of by what's his face? I can't remember what his name is, but he's a financial advisor, and he basically, that's how he split his finances, is that his money is his wife's money and his wife's money is her money. But no, jokes aside, if it's two incomes and you guys are married, combine the incomes. Of course, they're not married, they're just boyfriend and girlfriend. I would still kind of treat it as, a marriage anyways. If you're moved in together and spending all this time together, might as well do it, in my honest opinion. You just might as well do that. Like, not exactly down to the T, but pay a little extra just to help out. I mean, really, that's just, to me, that is incredibly, what's the word? Greedy, to say the least. I would say more greedy than anything. Anyways, we're going to go to a little bit of a shorter story than that other one. Am I the asshole for blocking my boyfriend after he blew me off while I was driving to see him? My mom and I are planning to go to a concert this weekend that is about 4.5 hours away from her house. My mom lives about 3 hours from me. I plan to drive straight to her house today after work so we could leave first thing in the morning. My boyfriend lives about 2 hours from me. He suggested that I stop and see him on my way to my mom's, and I agreed. The problem is stopping at his place adds another hour to my overall drive. I was willing to do it because he suggested it and I wanted to see him. We got to emphasize that especially too. I agree. It has to be emphasized. He has a history of being late and unreliable, so I made sure he knew exactly when I was coming. I told him when I left and when I was halfway there, and again, I told him I was about 45 minutes away. When I called him, he was out with his oldest daughter. They had already been there for about 2 hours. I wasn't upset that he was spending time with his daughter. What upset me was that he knew I was driving 2 hours out of my way to see him, knew I was on my way, and apparently never thought to tell me that he wasn't going to be available. When I called, he basically said, "Let us finish our drinks," and he hung up on me. How old is everybody here? That's my concern. It's hard to tell what age everybody is. So he then proceeded to ignore me. I could also hear his daughter talking shit about me in the background. He didn't say anything or defend me. This is a huge pet peeve of mine because I feel like situations involving him somehow always end up being turned around and made my fault. At that point, I blocked him on everything. I was already frustrated, exhausted, and had gone significantly out of my way because he specifically asked me to stop to see him. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted by blocking him. Am I the asshole for blocking him after he blew me off when I was literally driving to see him? Absolutely not. If your boyfriend is unwilling to set his daughter straight on talking shit about you, like refusing to defend you, and also going out of his way to do something else instead, and without communication from seeing you, fuck that guy, block him. Get rid of him. He is absolutely not worth it. Why would you want to be around someone? Why would you think you're even close to overreacting? I would block him on everything too. And seriously, I don't know how old his daughter is. I don't know anyone's ages at this point. I'm assuming probably in 20s to 30s, but that is absolutely ridiculous and insane to me that he would just hang up on you and you can hear your boyfriend's daughter talking shit about you in the background. It's like, no, you're clearly not welcomed with him. You're not welcomed from his daughter. Screw the guy. Screw the guy. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. That's why I won't date somebody that's 2 hours away, because that is such a waste of time. Only to hear that, oh my god, I would be so infuriated. It's not even close. I'd be seriously pissed. Anyways, now for another longer story. So this one is, am I the asshole for manipulating my best friend into breaking up with her boyfriend? This is going to be in for a roller coaster. Before I start this, bear with me. A lot of this seems like unneeded info, but trust it is needed. So me and my cousin Emma were best friends. She was dating this guy, Ricky. I didn't like Ricky from the start. I stated my opinion before and moved on because the relationship isn't my business, but I will warn my homegirl if I think something is off. Which, you know, that makes a lot of sense. You would always want to make sure everything is just fine, and I would do the same. Emma and I stopped being friends for around 6 months and then reconnected on New Year's. I had cut her off due to her talking behind my back, lying about me, and just overall being fake. When we became friends again, everything seemed good. Then she set me up with Ricky's friend, Jaden. Jaden and I hit it off and started dating quickly. We had no drama. We took a break once so he could focus on himself, but other than that, there was literally no drama. Then Jaden started to get busier and could hardly hang out. When he was able to, he would try to leave early to go see his friend, even though I hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. I told Emma how much that bothered me and that I was going to talk to him about it, because if he was just blowing me off or making little effort to hang out, it wasn't worth it to me. I want to see my partner at least once a week, not every 2 or 3 weeks. Emma started having problems with Ricky before Jaden and I broke up. She came to see me about it once after our double date and cried to me about how she wanted to leave him. She never did, and I was okay with that because sometimes you just get overwhelmed. Then she came to me again recently, 4 months after the first time. This time she was already tearing up and told me how much she didn't like him. She said she liked the neighbor boy, didn't find Ricky attractive in the slightest, and was stressed out because of him. Much more was said as well. I told her that she should break up with him if that's what she wanted. She said she didn't want to, but she was scared she would regret it. So I told her to take a break from him, and she did. The following day, we went out for a girls' day, and afterwards she decided she wanted to break up with him. I didn't ask her to. She told me herself, so I helped her. I comforted her for over 3 hours that night, even though I had an early shift the next morning and was supposed to be sleeping. So I'm gonna put a little pause on this because I am not really liking this whole entire idea of taking breaks. I don't like breaks in a relationship. I don't believe them. It is either going to be a break up or we are staying together. That is the only two ways that we're going. I hate it when I see breaks. stop that shit. Because to me, breaks are just a means to go cheat, to go explore, to say the least. And I don't condone exploration. Plain and simple. I don't condone exploration. Now, if you need a break by taking just a week to yourself, that is a little bit different. But a break and no, going no contact for a week, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't respect it. I will never allow it. It's either you're with me or you're not. That's the way I look at it. That's the way that's the way I have to have it. In my own personal opinion, it only makes sense. But anyways, back to the story. The next day, she said she wanted to get back with him. I told her that it hadn't even been 12 hours since she was so sure she wanted to break up with him, and that she should take a second to really think about it, because it would hurt both of them more if they just went back to how things were before. She didn't like that. I told her to make a pros and cons list of the relationship. She made the pros mostly about small things that should already be in relationship standard, while the cons were all about how she thought he was ugly and hated his brothers and hated his gaming. Really? That's... If you're not attracted to him, then why stay with them? Also, if you don't like his family, why stay with them? And if you don't like his hobbies, why stay with them? Leave. Anyways, back to it. I told Jaden about this because I didn't like how she put any of it or the way that she was treating Ricky. I felt like it was unfair to him. Time skipped 2 days. I'm on the way to a concert I had been waiting over 5 years for. Then Jaden texts me, breaking up with me and telling me off for supposedly manipulating Emma, apparently planning to break up with him when I called him to have a talk with him, and apparently talking to other guys at work romantically. Okay, that's all very interesting accusations, to say the least, but all right, let's continue reading. I don't believe I did the first thing. I just stated my opinion. The second thing I know I didn't do because I always wanted to talk to him beforehand. And I definitely did not do the third thing. I never talked to anyone romantically at work. Then Emma texts me, "Have a nice concert, it's gonna be fun." Clearly she had something to do with this. So I asked her why she always does this to start things and told her that she lied to him, etc. She played dumb the entire time. Then she tells me, "I'm not sure what you're talking about. I didn't twist anything. I'm trying to keep the peace. So bye." I'm going to throw hands. I would throw hands immediately. I'm going to be honest. At this point, I should have just stopped responding, but of course I didn't. I said, "Protecting your peace over a situation you caused." Crying emoji. Deuces. "All right, man, hope you fix whatever you need and find happiness." And then she responds with, "Well, at least I don't make fun of your body, and I didn't do shit, so I'm done. I was trying to be nice, but you disrespect me, so bye." First off, I never made fun of her body. I don't fat shame people, nor do I skinny shame them. I don't care if someone is fat. It doesn't affect me. I always tried to make her feel better about herself, so if I actually did something that made her feel like I was making fun of her body, I genuinely would have wanted her to tell me so I could change whatever I was doing. So I genuinely don't understand where that even came from. If I did do this, why wouldn't she have just brought it up beforehand? And I would have just listened and tried to fix it. I really don't understand how me trying to help my friend turned into all of this. I don't even know if I'm in the wrong because I could just be upset and not seeing what I did. I would genuinely like to know if I did something wrong so I could do better in the future and possibly apologize to them if they let me. Not going back with Jaden or becoming friends with Emma again. I just want to be able to apologize if I actually did something wrong and leave it at that. I don't want any drama. It seems like there's always something going on with Emma, and whenever there's drama in my life, it either starts with her or she's deeply involved. I don't need that in my life anymore. So am I the asshole? Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. It doesn't really seem like you actually manipulated your friend, so I don't know why you would mention manipulate your friend into breaking up with her boyfriend. That actually makes no sense because you didn't actually manipulate her. You just kind of told her, "Listen, you're not happy, you don't find him attractive, this isn't the way you want to go." That's not manipulation. That's just outright saying, "Listen, if it's not working, it's not working. You're not liable to stay. don't stay. Like that, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of bullshit involved with this one, and of course this is posted by somebody that's under 18, so that could be another problem here, is that, you know, it's a lot of stupid drama because kids are just dramatic. So ultimately, I'm gonna say you're not the asshole, but you definitely just need to disconnect from them, because clearly they just want to cause constant drama and stuff like that. Personally, I wouldn't take it, but you know. Anyways, that's all I have to really say about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Other than that, please hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out massively. It helps to push this out to a larger population of people who would hopefully enjoy the same content, and that helps me out again massively, so I can aim further away from having to work 60 hours a week like I mentioned earlier in this video. So anyways, check out this video if you enjoy these kind of videos, and this is my channel. I kind of show you all the other content that I post, such as gaming content. So anyways, I'll see you in the next episode.